Neil, wow. Neil, I want to switch gears and talk about the missing government documents. In a letter to the House Oversight Committee, the archive says it's still not sure that everything has been returned. Quote, while there is no easy way to establish absolute accountability, we do not know that we do not have custody of everything we should. As appropriate, the archives would consult with the Department of Justice on whether to initiate action for the recovery of records unlawfully removed. So with all the legal trouble Trump is in over these documents, can you believe he still may not have returned all of them? And how do you think the DOJ should handle this?
No, I can't believe it, Jonathan. And of course, what we're talking about here is the Mar-a-Lago national security document investigation, which is totally different than what Glenn is talking about, the January 6th investigation, which is going into the Trump White House and looking at that. And that's different from the other criminal investigations going on in Georgia and possibly in New York about other things. So this is about retention of these highly sensitive national security documents. And Jonathan, you've had me on your Sunday show like 3 times in the last 8 weeks. And we always say Trump has provided no explanation whatsoever for what he was doing with those documents. That's still now 8 weeks later, he hasn't. And now we are learning that the archives still don't think he's turned over all the documents. And that's coming on top of a news story in the Washington Post tonight that Trump's lawyer told Donald Trump in February that he could not certify that all the documents had been returned to the archives, and Trump sidelined him because of it. And so all of this is very powerful evidence. It's kind of glue, key glue, that's directly linking Donald Trump to what we could call the new big lie, which is the attempt to try and say he'd returned everything to federal investigators, to the archives, when he obviously didn't. And that's why the search warrant was executed.
Well, to that point, you anticipated my next question, and that is this Washington Post report out tonight that Alex Cannon, this is quoting the story, a former Trump Organization lawyer who worked for the campaign and for Trump after the presidency, told Trump he could not tell the archives all the requested material had been returned. He told others he was not sure if other documents were still at the club and would be uncomfortable making such a claim, the people familiar with the matter said. So, Neil, you've already told us what you make of this, but the fact that the key piece that you didn't mention was that this Alex Cannon guy told Trump and those folks he was uncomfortable telling the archives that they had everything.
Exactly. And that's why his testimony, should he cooperate with law enforcement or be forced to cooperate with law enforcement, shows Donald Trump had an intent to hide, had an intent to deceive. And this report is, precisely why we've seen Trump lawyer after Trump lawyer wind up embroiled in their own legal difficulties, because Donald Trump pressures his attorneys to do unethical things. Some of them acquiesce and face disciplinary proceedings, and others, like this guy, are kind of caught in the middle. But I think this is, gold mine for prosecutors right now, and there will be no attorney-client privilege because it'll be subject to the crime fraud exception.